Hi, everybody. I'm actually just kind of checking in and I haven't been live since New York. So I thought I'll just wait a few minutes. I'm just going to kind of let people recognize that perhaps I'm live and see if anybody jumps on. Hi. Hi, Owen. I'm just going to get Owen in a moment. He wants to come up here. Do you want to come up? You do? Okay. So, hey, I know the bell. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Stephanie. Hola, Kelly, Elodie, Nicole. Hi, Cayenne. Yay, I'm excited to see you guys. Chris Boston, yay. Hey, Jeep Girl. So I'm just kind of checking in because I just did some videos. Tired today. I just did two. I have one video that's only been for my Patreon folks, and that's the Cindy Watts face reading that I did with my friend Lara. I think we did it like a week or so ago, and I'm going to actually bring that over for my subscribers here as well. Because thank you, Stephanie. It was the longest drive in the world. And also, the other video I just did that somebody asked me about, I actually got an inquiry, I wouldn't have done it, about the difference between soulmate and twin flame, and were ChrisWatts and Shanann soulmates or twin flames, and what was that about? So I think it's a kind of a cool little video, so I did that. I'm just going to say hi to a couple people. I'm going to go get Owen. Do you want to come up here? Come on. My little Owen, the other whippet, is kind of like, I want to come up here. So I'm going to say hi to people. Yes. Stevie 33, yay. Hi, Chrissy, intuitive reader. Wow, cool. Love that. Hi, Ellie. UK is coming up. We just did I think it's on my new event page. So I think right now, if you go to torihartman.com/events, but I'll announce it again. My events in the UK, I just did a video about it. So I'm going to also put it on the channel here. So you'll be able to, because I talk about all the events. And if you're on my mailing list, if you go to my website, torihartman.com, and you get on my mailing list by signing up for something, whatever, you'll get a notice about the live events in the UK. And I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, I'm going to be at the College of Psychic Studies, and I'm also going to be, where else am I going to be? The Mind, Body, Spirit Expo, which is phenomenal. It's the Wellbeing Festival, and that is just an experience. Each event I'm doing has a different flavor to it. I'm also going to be in Birmingham for one night, at the Tree of Life. So I'm kind of psyched to be going to the UK again. Well, that's my spiritual home. I love the UK, and I really love London and British people. And yeah, thanks, Wayne. That was quite an experience. So what I wanted to say also is that if you are in the UK, this is going to be a great chance to get to know, because what I'll be doing is I'm going to be doing different events on the Chakra Wisdom Tarot, working with your intuition, setting intentions, all that fun kind of stuff. So I'll be doing that. And I'm just going to check in here. Denise, come down to the UK. Come down to London. Great to see you, Sally. Hey, KCB, good to see you. Yeah, I know, Lisa, you didn't meet Owen. I've got to actually take them both to the vet tomorrow because they've got a little bit of diarrhea. So I think it was just nerves. I know, Wayne Dicker said, yeah, well, we all, I could do my, hey, Brittany, good to see you. All right, so what I thought I would do is just recap a little bit from my trip to New York and some of the evolutionary conversation. Some of you know Duty Ron. I got to work with him. We did a live as well. That was really fun. And I did a live with two of my oldest friends, Monty and Amy Zerner. Cruz Boston, they are past the rice thing. I'm having to just give them, just so everybody knows I'm talking about my dogs, I'm having to give them just broth right now and to kind of settle their tum-tums. And then I'm going to try the mashed sweet potato and all that stuff. There we go. Let's see, Brittany Parker. What was kind of weird? I missed that part. Okay. Hi, Washington State, human cereal. Human cereal. I love these names. You guys are just like so great. Oh my gosh, the black and white, wasn't that hysterical? In New York, when I did a live from my hotel, I showed the treats I had, my black and white. Oh my God, it was so good. So they were really good. I know my dogs are both sick. Let's see. Okay, the last live was awesome. Do you think they'll actually say goodbye this time? Who, Stephanie, who would say goodbye? Curious. And then can't wait for your new deck. Thank you, Intuitive Reader. And welcome, Black Rose 11 and Cruise Boston. Special shout out to anyone that does mods, whether it's for me or other creators. It's such a great thing. And just because I've become friendly with some of the other creators, I kind of help them out and jump on as a mod as well at time. Oh, I know, oh, Stephanie got it. You know what happens? The other day when I was doing a live, I was, I get knocked off the internet. I don't know what it is, but I was on with Monty Farber and Amy Zerner, known them over 30 years. If I said to you 40, whoa, that's a lot of years. Anyway, I know them a long time. And by the way, they are truly twin flames. It is a joy to be around them. They're just such fun energy. And so Monty is an expert astrologer and Amy is a creator, designer, just brilliant, brilliant. And there's a live on them. Hey, Lou, good to see you. We talked, and what happened, everybody, we did a live, and all of a sudden we were going, blah, 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 boom. And what happened was I didn't have my cord to my computer, and it just ran out. So that's what happened. It just went down. I love Monty and Amy. Like I said, I've known them forever, and it was just really, I don't know if y'all feel this way, but I'm so sick of having conversations that mean nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want real friends. I want real conversations. I want people that get me. And it was really interesting because I have a friend who's really like a rabid political, they read Alanis Morissette. They're amazing. Anyway, a lot of people are very political, and I really don't kind of allow that on my Facebook because I just got exhausted in 2016. I thought I was going to need a blood transfusion or something from it. Anyway, what happened was I have a friend who got on the feed. I guess this is a while ago, maybe 8 months ago or something. And people were like, why are you even this person's friend? They're saying this or what have you. And and they went on. And I was like, I'm not his friend because of politics. I'm friends because I like him. And today he posted something that was really meaningful to me on Facebook because I put up something about my new deck and all this, and his comment was, wow, I'm really proud of you, and you've really, he's known me 20-something years, and he said, I remember we spent 9/11 together, and that was when I was living in LA, and I remember we went to a temple, and we just prayed. We just spent a lot of time just silent with God, meditating, praying. And we were with, I think, one or two other people that went with us, but it was just so necessary on that day because we were all depleted. And I think to people saying, well, I don't agree with him politically. He's this, he's that. And I thought, except he was there on 9/11. He was there with me. And I think we have to remember that, it's important when people show up for us who they are. Really, guys, politics, God, that's not a reason. Because the truth is, it's all decided anyway. It's all going to happen what's going to happen. As a consciousness, we've created it. So, I think where we're at now in terms of what's happening with crime, what's happening with the reality of our lives is that we really, really have to focus on being kind to each other and really making friends with the people that are really our friends. Yes, we may agree on certain things. We may not agree on other things. But at the end of the day, who's going to show up for you? It was really interesting because I was having this conversation with Monty and Amy and about being kind to each other. And it was fascinating. Actually, it was also with my friend. There were a bunch of conversations because I was at the Tarot Festival this past weekend. And anyway, the thing is we were talking about being kind to people. And the thing that came up for me is No, I haven't followed the Tiffany Moss case. I'll look at it. I will look at it. What came up for me in this is that they were talking about how oh my gosh, was it, I'm feeling, oh no, I had this in my, my brain. Okay, I was in my critique group last night, my writing group, because, I have a couple writers, we get together every week and we share material. And we're talking about being kind. And what I said was, it's really interesting how people are pulled up to their highest self when they get to do a good deed. And one of the women in the group, we just were chatting before the meeting, and she said, she lives in a retirement community, and they don't really know each other, she and her husband, and it's over 55. And so she said one day she and her husband were about to get in their car, and they're watching this man walk. And as he was walking, he got unsteady on his feet, and they looked, and all of a sudden he just collapsed. And, her husband ran over and helped him. She called the wife. They got him some emergency care. And then her husband and she went on with their day. They went on to shopping or whatever it was. Now, the reason this is very important in this conversation is because I said, and you didn't really have the need to go back and reconnect, right? She said, well, we really don't connect with them, but there was no reason not to be kind and help them. I thought, wow, I think that in some ways, everybody, sometimes we're kinder to strangers than we are to people in our family. And I think that's flipped. I think we're being meaner to strangers and only kind to people we personally know. And so what I want to say to you is, you don't know if you're going to be the difference between someone feeling like their life isn't worth it and the moment they connect and they feel that they can hook in with you, they recognize that it's worth it. And so, what I want to say to you is just remember that everyone is like a little kid walking around vulnerable and scared. And when I really think about that, and I can use people like Cindy Watts and say that, people go, oh, she's so nice. I'm like, I'm sure she's nice. I'm only talking about her actions. And that's not to bully this person. It's more to say, let's look at the behavior so that when we find ourselves, if we do, knock wood, if we find ourselves in a difficult situation that could be similar or, something like that, we can have choices. We don't have to just run to, how could that person, that he couldn't do that, or defending our position when we're wrong. I think that's the real key, is that I'm telling you, the only time I really think I'm wrong, if you will, is when I'm attacking someone else for no reason. That's wrong. Like, I don't care what you say. There's no reason to attack another person. There just isn't. I mean, I can disagree with their methodology. I can disagree with the way they do things. I may not like their content, but that doesn't mean I'm going to criticize it. It just means I'm not going to watch it. So, I just want to underline that for all of you, because I think one of the things to remember is that, we're all just like, I remember somebody said this to me once, and it's really funny. It's actually, I learned this on the weekend. I met Monty and Amy, I think I was 17 or something. Anyway, the leader at that meeting said, life is a hysterical activity on the way to the grave. And I thought that was great. So let me just, thank you, Christina D. I appreciate that. Hi, Lisa. Just want to check in. Kill him with kindness. My dad used to say that. Hi, Letty. Hi, see me at the beach. You're not late, Letty. You're on time. You're right here. Kindness counts so much. You never know how someone is dealing. Oh my gosh. And kinder to animals. If anybody abuses an animal, like, they are not in my circle. Like, that's just a no, that's a deal breaker. We don't talk about that. So, by the way, if you are on this feed right now, please give the video a thumbs up. It does help with the YouTube ratings. And I just wanted to just connect with you all about the videos that I have upcoming, and because I gave them over to Elizabeth, and she puts the end cards on and does all that fun stuff, and I gave them to her, And just a couple quick announcements that I wanted to let you know about. If you are in the UK or know someone in the UK, I will be doing live events there. I'm super excited because I'm going to be talking about my deck, but I'm also going to be talking about the things that are relevant to what's going on in the present day. And okay, that's weird. My back door just closed for no reason. Love that. Love stuff like that. So let me just check in with everybody. Yes, thank you, Black Rose 11. Black Rose 11, you cracked me up. Thank you. Let's see. Intuitive reader, I drive for Uber and Lyft, so I meet people all day. I make it my goal to treat all my passengers with kindness and uplift their spirit. I'm their driver and therapist. That's so true. Can I tell you something? Like my hairdresser is always like the best. You know, I tell her all of the crap that's going on. It was really nice yesterday when she talked to me about stuff and she said, this is what's going on. And I said, oh. And I just rattled off what I thought. And she messaged me later and said, thanks for helping. I thought to myself, if you only knew how much you helped me. Well, Gavin is not feeling well. Gavin has been like cuddle bunny because he's got a tum-tum issue. I am going to be in the UK. I leave on the 18th of May. I arrive on the 19th and that's just a day that's gone. That's just me faceplant sleeping. And then I'm there from the 20th through June 1st. And I've got a bunch of events planned where you can come meet me, see me. And I really would love to have some kind of gathering for y'all because I think it's really fun. But I just haven't had time to kind of put it together. But that would be fun. Yeah, I know, my boy. Cruise Boston, you're the best. Thank you for the super chat. Happy 1st of May. Yeah, happy 1st of May. So what I thought I would do is talk to you about, because I've been asked to do, I'm going to be doing a card reading for the Royal Baby, the new Royal Baby, for one of the newspapers in the UK when I get there. So that'll be fun. So what I thought I'd do is talk to you just for a minute about the energy that's going on, what we're seeing happen, and really accepting when things are as they are. There's so much push into we've got to be right. And the thing is like, who cares? At the end of the day, I mean, someone posted this big long thing about how I was a hag and I was this, I was that, and I just I said, could you clean it up? They came back and just said, you're a hag. Now, that's unkind. So I actually learned that I can actually report that person to YouTube through their own channels. So I'm excited because I'm starting to do that where, if you post a really bitter or mean comment, I can report it through them and not get involved in my channel, which is great. So I know my Scotland visit. Okay, I'm probably going to visit in October. Thank you, Carol Harrison. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you, and thank you for passing stuff on to Persickning. Is ChrisWatts really appealing, Tori? Here's the thing. Okay, so what you need to know about appeals is there are automatic appeals for almost all criminals. They get a certain amount of opportunities to appeal. Fortunately or unfortunately in our country, once they're used up, that's it. So I'm so thirsty. So that's why I'm really in upset over the Menendez case, because I really feel that there's a lot of this like Me Too surfacing. And what I mean by that is that, okay, great, we identify with each other that, bad stuff has happened. However, this also includes men who've been abused. And I think that what this opens up is the idea that maybe we need to go back and look at some cases now that we're becoming very aware of the Menendez case. In that case, they did not get a chance to present their actual defense in the second trial. And meanwhile, we're listening to things that are hearsay for people who are saying, oh, I was attacked by this person with no proof. So I think it's really telling that we, and listen guys, there's no doubt they killed them. That's just a given. I want to talk about the Menendez case and their parents. I think that's just so true. Christine D, thank you for the super chat. I'll tell you, I really have I guess people aren't watching the videos or what have you, because I haven't been doing as much on the Watts case, and I do have a couple things coming up, but I do feel, and this is my own feeling, is that if I don't have something to say about Chris Watts or the brutal murder of his family that he inflicted, I just don't want to do something just to go, and now son of Chris Watts, like, God, if there's something that pertains to what I do and I can relate to it, then I'll do the video. Like I said, I just did a video on Chris Watts and Shanann. Were they twin flames or soulmates? And that was kind of cool. Somebody asked me that question and I did that. So, thank you. There's Sam. I think it's There's Sam 1979. And so I'll be putting that video up tonight, by the way, the one on the twin flame and soulmate. I haven't put it up yet, Red Like Wine. It's fine. So you're cool. Will there be more on the Menendez brothers? Sorry if I misspelled the name. I'm super interested to see what else you have to say on that. You know what? I think there will be, because the thing we have to look at is, what is our system about? Are we rehabilitating people, or are we encouraging serial criminals? And I think that when we look at the law that was signed in on the Criminal Reform Act, by the way, this particular president is the first one that signed it. It's important to look at it, because we have to look at, are we rehabilitating people, or are we just storing people we feel scared by? And I think we have to look at, the real thing is, are they unsafe? Are they someone who's going to go out and do it again? And the thing that I'm really proud of with the Menendez boys, and I'm going to talk about this more, about the things they have done in prison that has helped tons of people. I think it's Lyle in particular, who's done some sexual abuse meetings and some helping other prisoners come to terms with that. The thing is that it's very funny, actually. I wrote a screenplay years ago, didn't get done, but I wrote it with my friend Carrie Bickley, and Bickley wrote The Gun in Betty Lou's Handbag. It was a pretty successful movie, and she's done all of the, oh God, they were Morgan Freeman, Ashley Judd movies, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, she wrote a lot of those movies. I wrote with her, and we did a thing called The Whole Truth. It was Reverend Nathaniel Hole and his Ministry of Truth. And one of the things that's really interesting is that he's actually a phony preacher, and by the end we realize that he has really come to God and he really is the real deal. But at this point, when they have him in a prison, he actually reforms the prison just by being there. And what happens is they go into, they recognize he's been framed and they try to get him out. But the truth is that the prison system doesn't want to let him go, because every time he goes to a new prison, it gets better and it helps reform the inmates. So really, I kind of feel that way at this point about the Menendez brothers, is that each of them is doing so much good within the prison system that it really is fascinating how much they're helping other people. So I really feel like what we're talking about is that, and by the way, they are a minority. Okay, I really need to say that they are Hispanic. They came from, and by the way, their father worked as an accountant on the Hertz car account. And check this out. Of course, that was OJ, did the famous Hertz commercials. So there's a lot of things, when you see these crimes, a lot of things start to, I want to say there's synchronicity in crime, and there's synchronicity in how it occurs. So when we look at, and if you get a chance, everybody, even if you're not into it, go and watch the live I did with Monty Farber and Amy Zerner. We talked a lot about the Jupiter pattern, where things come back. And we're seeing how it was actually 24 years ago that the Menendez crimes happened. And it was also 24 years ago, same day on, I think some of you heard me say this, on the cover of the LA Times, it mentions they were found guilty, right, of killing their parents. And on the same thing, it says, and people may be, I forget what it was, that they're discovering that rich people can pay their way in by donations, get their kids into college. So it's very interesting that these things are resurfacing again. And I think one of the things I want to say is that when there was a show years ago, I think some of you may remember it. Do you remember Quantum Leap? It was a TV show. It was with Scott Bakula. Everybody was like, he's great. Anyway, he was leaping around in time to set right what once was wrong. And I think we are really looking at that as kind of a guidance for us. Like, wow, are we trying to set right what was once wrong? Now, bear with me when I say this, because this is not a political thing. It's an energetic comment. You know, we as a society, we actually energetically create our leaders as we create them. So every single one of them is kind of a consciousness. Now, when people were, really screaming about, this person's a racist, or this person is, a homophobe, or whatever they're screaming, the thing that happens in that is that those issues come to the surface to heal. And remember, the idea is that sometimes things look worse than they actually are. And we're actually in a really wonderful time, because Jupiter is going back to create things that may have not been done correctly the first time. So with that, I want to tell you how I see this, okay? And I want to just check in with you. A Quantum Leap was a great show. It really was. It was kind of ahead of its time. Okay, let's see. Oh, cool. Laura, really? Okay, I hope so. Love all people. Go for all. Okay, so hey, Rudy Rico. I told Monty you thought he was cool. So years ago, my whippet, Billy, before Gavin and Owen, Billy got on his hind leg, he got poked really bad, and there was an open wound. And I'm not going to get into the gross of it, but a chunk of his hind quarter was taken out, and I rushed him to the vet, and it was bleeding. Blah, blah, blah. So they cleaned it; it stopped bleeding, and then they brought Bill back in, and they said, "Okay, he's good." I went, "But it's open, like it was literally an open wound." I go, "Aren't you going to cover it so it heals?" And the vet taught me something in that moment, and he didn't know that he was teaching me something, but he said, "Well, Tori, some wounds need to heal from the inside out. You can't just put a bandage on it, because it really won't heal. And so for those kinds of wounds, you have to let it be exposed, and slowly the layers will heal, but it's not going to look the way you think it should look as it's healing." So what I want to say to all of you is that when we talk about, that kind of thing, I really want to say that it's really important that we look at together the idea that things may not look good, but that doesn't mean they're not getting better. I think we sometimes rush to just fix something as opposed to go, okay, let's just leave it as it is. Let's just leave it as it is right now. Let's just let things fall as they do and see what happens. I think everybody's so quick to want to get to a solution, when the truth is we have to experience the problem in order for it to heal. And instead of, saying the real issue is we need to heal ourselves from the inside out, everybody's running to a political Band-Aid to think, well, we need this or we need that or this will help it, instead of saying, who am I being in the world? And when we look at criminals, okay, and we look at a case like the Menendez case, they absolutely killed their parents. But I can tell you from my heart, and I mean this, when I can look an abused person in the eye and we get it. Like, I get it. I know what it's like to be abused. Now, I honestly, not at that level. Mine was more emotional from an alcoholic, my mom, who was just incredibly like off the, reeling off the rails. But, it doesn't matter how you've been abused, and it doesn't matter how big it is or little it is. It means something to you. And for some people, it will dictate their lifelong behavior. Some people it won't. And I think that we need to really look at that as a truth. And Stephanie, I think, let me just look at this because I think you said something. Yeah, art therapy, that's great, Alice. And Peachy, thank you so much for joining. By the way, anyone here who's new, please feel free to like the video and like and subscribe. If you hit the bell, you'll know when I'm uploading something. And I'm kind of around the spiritual gamut. I have a tarot deck. I have, I believe in God. I pray. I did a great interview today. It's going to be on my radio page. I'll share it with some of you guys. But anyway, I talked about some of that. But somebody said something. You didn't miss out this time, Lisa-Lette. You didn't miss out. You're here. Okay. Stephanie Siskind said, I love Cherry Heart. She changed my life with her pie. Okay. So she's talking about, I'm very into being inclusive, by the way. So sometimes when I read something on the post, it's important for me to share with you what that means, because I'm very much someone that I don't like to be excluded, and I don't like to exclude people. And I think that people that are mean or people that are attacking really are looking for deep, deep connection that they can't find by being kind, because they try to connect with the wrong people. Sometimes if we're nice and we connect with mean people, we go, oh, see, it doesn't pay to be nice. But the truth is, you're connecting with mean people to validate being unkind. So I think we need to look at that as a big, let's see. All right, so I'm going to share with you. That is, okay, this is the, this is the Chinese. Actually, this is the South Korean deck. I've got guess what, guys? I do have the English deck. So what she's talking about, and Stephanie mentioned Cherry Heart. I'm going to show you the card and tell you what she means. Cherry Heart it's a fable about a woman named Cherry, and she's a waitress. And in the fable, I'm going to just try to find the card so I can show it to you. In the fable, Cherry is really feeling down, and the card actually is one of personal acceptance. The name on the card is acceptance. And Cherry says to no one in particular, she says, she's cutting a pie, and she's a cherry pie. And she says, I really feel like this pie. I feel like there's a piece missing from my life. And the other waitress just walking by. Remember I said angels will appear and walk by. Oh, actually I said that in the Shanann ChrisWatts video I just did. But anyway, I said angels just walk by and they contribute. The other waitress says, well, Cherry, maybe you're just a heart-shaped pie. And i.e., there's nothing really missing. So the truth is, sometimes in our lives, we think something's missing, but you know what? There's really nothing missing. That's just the way we are. We didn't get that memo. We weren't there the day that was handed out. We didn't need it. This is the card she's talking about. It's the acceptance card. And don't be scared. That is the goddess behind her. She's the goddess, and she's very positive, and she brings light to situations. And of course, red chakra is first chakra. It's our deepest wisdom. It is also what we bring into old beliefs. So the idea that you're not enough is a red chakra card, because it comes in from the family of origin telling you you're stupid, you're dumb, whatever, and that is about changing it. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're here, it does help the ranking in, what do you call it, in YouTube? What was it? Oh, water. So that was kind of that. Alyssa said, so true. Mean people are so full of negativity and bitterness. You know what I think they are? I think they're deeply sad. I think negative people are so sad and so unhappy that they don't know any other way in the moment to communicate. And I know for me, when I'm like in my anger, I know for me, I'm like sad. That's what's going on. You know, when I'm snarky or I'm just moody, it's because I'm sad, not because I'm like a mean person. It's like, you know, and I think some people are deeply disturbed. And I think there are platforms like YouTube that kind of contribute to it or can, you know, add to their, you know, their issues, so to speak, you know. So that's a big thing as well. I'm going to see if people have questions. I love looking at, by the way, one of the things I wanted to tell you is, good. One of the things I want to tell you is I did do the Cindy Watts face reading video, and it's on my Patreon page. That's where it is. I am going to make it live, you know, eventually on the YouTube channel. So let me just see. Thank you, Letty. You rock. Can you cook? Mark, what on earth are you talking about? See, this is the kind of stuff like what? Like, duh, you know. I don't know. Okay, Tori should have way more likes than she does. Okay. Aw, thank you, Rudy Rico. You're very sweet. I would like to meet you, lover of music. Thank you. Let me just check out. Thank you, Serenity. I really appreciate your comments. I'm just gonna remember reading something, read like wine, similar about Lacey and Scott Peterson's signs, how they were really bad for each other, like a deadly mix. Those who understand that a miracle is just a moment when a life changes. Oh, Teresa M. 1979. I just figured that out, Teresa. What's wrong with me? I think it's Teresa. I don't know. There's so many ways to say that, like there is Sam or whatever. Okay, so true mean people. Okay, got it. You know, I think that, by the way, if you're new here, please jump on and let me know. I'd love to hear from you and just get a chance for everybody to welcome you. Because I think one of the things I'm really trying to support everybody in is finding your own voice and being who you can be in any given moment, the best you can be. So I think that's really important. Let's see. Albury, I heard it on here, but what's the appeal about? Oh, hold on. Have you heard? Yeah. Have you heard Chris Watts is going to file an appeal? He has to. It's kind of a standard. It's kind of a standard thing when there's a lifer or a death penalty, they file it. And the thing is that if we're lucky, he's filing it and he'll get the death penalty. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like, you know, because I can't imagine. There's just so much evidence that. You know, he even admitted it. I mean, there's just like, you know, anyway. Okay, let's see. Some people don't know how to like a video, but you have to X out of the live chat to get the like. Oh, I didn't know that, Brittany. So in other words, you kind of close the live chat for a second, get the like button, and then come back in. Interesting. I didn't know that. Not done many of your lives, but watched loads of your videos. Oh, Lisa Donald, thank you. Welcome, welcome. Thanks, Brittany. So I don't know what the appeal is about. I will look into that. And that reminds me that I don't know, because I was on with Duty Ron, and he said that the Menendez brothers have exhausted their appeals. And he said the only one who could actually grant them, what do you call it, not freedom or whatever, forget the thing is the president. But I thought that was only with and somebody mentioned this on the feed earlier, not this one, but another. They said that they thought that for that particular case, it was not, what do you call it? It was not a national, so it wasn't federal. That's what it was. It wasn't federal, so it didn't pertain to the president. So it was more the governor could do it. I don't know if that's true. I really don't know if that's true. I know that the president can, in fact, you know, pardon people. I know that. But I also wonder if something like that wouldn't be, you know, if their sentence can't be commuted to, I think it's called commuted to, the life with the possibility of parole. And to be truthful with it, they did not get a fair trial because the judge I'm talking Menendez, they did not get, I'll tell you in a sec, Beverly, they did not get a fair trial because a fair trial would be being able to present the case they wanted to. And the judge said, you can't present abuse because there's no proof. Meanwhile, both aunts said it happened. Other people came forward and said that it happened. They spoke truth. I mean, you could see what was going on. So what I'm saying is that there's no excuse for murder. I'm not saying there is, but I am saying that there are extenuating circumstances to certain things, and that's what the criminal reform is all about. Now, Bev, you just said, what is a super chat? So I'm going to come back to you. A super chat, if you look down below where you can comment and chat, there's a $sign. And in that, you can actually give the creator who's on a live money. So you can donate to them and say, hey, I support your work. I love what you're doing. Or you can, what it does is when you do a super chat, that's like, let's say you add $1 or $5 or whatever you put up, that automatically gives your chat, instead of black and white, it gives it a color behind it, and it puts it up at the top so that the creator can see the color. Now, based on the amount you super chat with, that indicates how long your name and question will be at the top of the chat. So it gives you a way to donate to the creator, and it's really a great thing. I love having that because it does help. And it's one of those ways you can just support the creator. So that's what a super chat is. Any channel you like, you can jump on and do that. And I've done that with other creators that I think are fab. So there you go. And by the way, it's interesting. It's like I don't get into what's going on with other channels because I have my own point of view. So while their points of view are great and fab and they have lots of great followers, I stay in my lane is what I'm saying. Stay in my lane. Let's see if anybody has a comment. Thank you, Cruise Boston. It was, what are you sorry for, Christine D? I don't know what you're sorry for. Let's see. I think Cindy Watts has narcissism and couldn't bond with Chris, which messed him up. Not takes away his responsibility. I think, and this brings up a good point, sensible crime. And I think I've mentioned this before, and it's not that people aren't narcissistic, but the reason I don't use those terms, and it's, you do what you feel. I don't use those terms. I let my guests use them. I let other people use them. I don't for me because I'm not a professional. And I'm not a professional therapist, so I don't feel in that sense that I can say who is and who isn't, number one. Number two, I actually think we're all narcissistic. You have to be. Everyone's on the spectrum. Everyone's on the spectrum of autism. Everyone's on the spectrum. And the reason I say that when you talk about it is like you can't not be, because in order to spot it, you have to have it. Like if you spot it, you got it. So if you say, well, that person's narcissistic, you have to be able to know what it is in you. The reason I don't use it as a term is more along the lines of, I feel that it distances me from my issues, and it is a way for me to just go, oh yeah, that's narcissism, as opposed to saying, this is how I really feel about that person, or this is how I feel what was going on. Now, what about saying something might be narcissistic behavior? Like, wow, his inability, I'm using ChrisWatts, his inability to have any form of reality or even getting in front of the cameras has probably a lot of clinical, definitions around it. And I leave that to the experts. What I like to do for me is just say, I don't know that he really is in touch with anything that would be real. And I really feel that, and I talk about it a little bit more in my soulmate and twin flame video, which I'm going to put up in a bit. So I think that's a little bit more. So there you go. Let's see. Intuitive Reader says, what'd you say? Will you be showing images of your tarot deck before the release? I'm so eagerly waiting to see the images. Sure. Let's see. I will be. And what did you say? Some people are like a walking trash can looking for someone to dump all their garbage on. I have learned to walk away because I'm not a dumpster to collect other people's mess. Think about this, though. There also are people walking around. You made a really good point. There are people walking around waiting for you to do something wrong so they can accuse you of something, because then they can be right. And people who've spent a lot of time in their life feeling that they've been wrong about things or feeling invalidated, I think that's more to the point. I think we're really talking about that. Those are the people who are waiting for you to dump on them so they can prove that you're wrong. So they're crazy makers, because that's what gaslighting is. They go, see, you did that, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's kind of like accusing you of things that they asked you to do. And so in that sense, I'll give you a right and wrong meaning, like for example, with someone who is into that mind effing, right? It's more like this. Can you get me a drink of scotch? And you go in the other room, and I really am asking for milk. So you bring me a glass of milk. Well, I get to say, what the hell are you doing? I asked for scotch. Then I say, all right, get me scotch. And you bring me scotch, and I go, you know what? What are you doing? I can't drink scotch. So it's kind of like saying, but you asked for that. No, I asked you for milk. No matter what you're going to do, they're going to find a way to say, no, that didn't happen. So those are the people that are actually the walking trash bins, because what they're trying to do is get rid of their pain by blaming you for it. And they're really searching for a socket to plug into, kind of like zzz, 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 so they can get power from it. Some people call that narcissism. But if we look at it as the layperson and we look at it in this conversation, we can say, wait a second, that's behavior I won't accept. I love that you said that, intuitive reader, because that kind of is the actual way, in some ways, someone like ChrisWatts plays it out. He looks like the good guy. She looks like the crazy one who rang up all the debt, who did all this. Meanwhile, it's like, she looks like also the one who's controlling and all that stuff. I don't know. Because, if someone doesn't do something they're supposed to do, and you go, hey, did you pick up, like, I remember, this is a perfect example. I might have been in a relationship once with someone who, in the morning I'd go out, I'd go into the yard, and I'd pick up the dog's stuff, right? So I'd pick up the dog droppings, and every day, I'd go, oh, hey, just so you know, I picked up the dog poo in the yard, And one day he blew up at me, and this went toward the end of the relationship, because you can get the feel for this. Why do you always feel you need to tell me that you're doing that? It's like you just need some kind of validation and me to say you're doing a great job. I just looked at him like he'd come from another planet, and I went, no, I'm just telling you so you don't go out there, because you don't have to. I already did it. But if you want to do it, I'm fine with that, and I can thank you for it. But you see, some people have to twisty on you. And when you get twisty people, whatever label you put on them, bipolar, narcissistic, antisocial, psychopath, psycho whatever, it all becomes this mishmash of not really knowing what's happening, except saying that's what they're doing, instead of saying, okay, I was just going out to the yard and saying, hey, I picked it up. You don't have to do it. And he had this whole thing running in his head that wasn't going on. Now, whatever label you want to put on that interchange, the bottom line ultimately is that was not someone that I was going to stay in relationship with. You see, what happens is people, I think it's kind of like circumstances don't make a man, they reveal him. And that's a Mark Allen quote, and I think it's really true. So when there are circumstances that push somebody, they're going to reveal who they really are. And I remember years ago, my friend Steve, who was involved with this guy, Adam, and he was like, is it going to work? Is it going to work? And I was like, doesn't matter. He was like, what? And I pulled cards, and I said, listen, it's not going to matter. He said, what do you mean it doesn't matter? I said, trust me, it's not going to matter. And it was funny. He was really kind of like upset with me at the time. And then later he came back and said, you know what? Like 2 years later, he went, you were so right. You're so right. It didn't matter. Because you see, sometimes we wonder things that will not actually matter to us in the long run. So I just want to check to see if y'all said anything that I need to, let's see. Oh, Lavelle Thrive. I don't know. My husband was a twisty. See, twisties, and they twist you. You know what I mean? And I'm glad you said that. Let's see. Again, triangulation is kind of it's kind of a buzzword for what that means is they use someone else against you. And I've seen it with in families, I've seen it with friendships, but it changes form. See, this is the reason I don't use buzzwords, because here's what happens. The minute you think you've got something down and you know what it looks like, it changes form, it morphs. So the same twisty behavior can look like something else. So what happens is you're looking at it as like, okay, narcissist, that's the narcissistic behavior. And then they go do something else and you go, huh? But if you didn't know that an abuser, right, will beat the heck out of you emotionally or physically or what have you, and then the next day bring you flowers, you're going to go, and you just go, look, he's really narcissistic, he's crazy. You're going to go, oh, but he brought me flowers. But if you don't understand the full totality of the personality energetically and what that pattern is, you're going to be using buzzwords to keep you from the real perpetrator, which is that person. So what I mean by that is that if you look at it as a total, man, I feel like crap when that person's around, or if you look at somebody who's just mean, like somebody called me a hag. I mean, come on, that's just mean. You know, what if I am? I don't know. I don't think I am. But the thing is that even if I was, who's that person to say that, right? But the thing is that when you recognize that mean behavior and then you go, and when you, my way of calling people now is just, I'm going to report them underneath the surface to YouTube because there is a way to do that. And so those people will just get checked out. But here's the thing. What I notice is that you want to really look at, I do anyway, not just, you know, I was involved with a narcissist, but you want to look at, hey, this behavior that's happening, boom, 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 that's real, and I'm not putting it together in the right way. Then you can say, Twisty is going to next bring me flowers. And the thing that came to me when I was involved with someone who had all those labels, one of the things I learned was that I really was able to dig deep into what was going on with me as well and recognize that he was my mirror. And I really recognized that the self-loathing I had attracted that. And since I didn't have it anymore, and as I was in the relationship and started to get healthier, he had to go. It wasn't going to work because like when he basically destroyed all the china one day, I remember standing there and it was almost like a feeling of being numb, but I also looked at it and I just grabbed my purse and I started walking the door. Where are you going? I said, I'm going to a movie. There's a movie I wanted to see. And I went out and saw the movie. Now, yes, it bothered me, but the truth is when I came back, it was all cleaned up and it was like apology and it was here are the flowers. And I said, you know, and this is what I said to him. I said, I am so deeply sorry because I can't help you. I don't know what's going on with you. I wish I could do something. I wish there was some way that it was about me because I could change me, but I can't change you. And I just don't vibe with it anymore. We're not fitting, you know, the socket, like the plug that's looking for a socket. When you get healthier, it just doesn't, you can't put it, it just doesn't work. And I want to say, Chastity Young, thank you so much for the super chat. Great to see you too. I really appreciate it, Chastity. And so what I want to say is that when you look at some of this stuff, you really have to get that the only reason I don't use the terminology is because I know that it is in my behavior that I have to look at the mirror that I created, because it is only in healing myself that my circumstances will change. Because you see, it's like this. If you're looking in a mirror, right, and you have no makeup on, well, for me, that's scary. But if you look, like if I'm looking in the mirror, I have no makeup on, I'm going to look one particular way. Then an hour later, if I get my hair done, I have my makeup on, I put on, you know, if I dress well, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to look in the mirror and go, oh, look, I look better. Now, it's the same thing you're looking at in relationships. When you feel bad about yourself, you're going to see the bad in the other person, and they're going to reflect it to you. When you get better and you feel healthier and you're looking in the mirror, you're not seeing that evil, you're seeing the sweetness. And so even when I saw in my partner that he was suffering from all this, right? And he was suffering from this self-loathing that I no longer suffered from. I didn't have to get into crying with him and be into accepting the flowers and saying, I'm just and being able to say, I don't relate to this anymore. It wasn't that he was still narcissistic, which in that sense, yes, okay, he was. But it was that I had sometimes healthy does not survive unhealthy. In other words, relationships formed when you're looking to heal an unhealthy part of you cannot stay together when you have healed those parts of you. So I was looking at an old picture that no longer fit on my wall. It was no longer working in my life. So when I say this to you about narcissism, right, you're kind of going, well, I got better. And when I got better, that person couldn't stay with me because, you see, he was still looking for someone he could play out that issue with, because we're always playing out painful issues with people to heal them. That's what it is. That's why you repeat patterns over and over and over again, because you want to heal them. What is the cliche? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Isn't that truly what narcissism is? Isn't that truly what bipolar or all of those things kind of are? Because our brain can't compute that there's another way of doing something. So when I say all this to you, this in and of itself is why I look at things from an intuitive spiritual point of view and what's going on with me, so that when I heal it, and when I heal it, I can reveal it. In other words, as I heal it in me, I can see in someone else that it's just not going to stay. It's just not going to stay. Yay. Teresa M, 1979. Thank you so much for the super chat. Loving you. So thank you for that. Let's see. Yeah. Thank you for that. I want to just go back to something Renee Urbanek said, which I think is key, and bump that truth. I agree with you, Teresa M. Right on, because Renee Urbanek just said, is it Urbanic, sorry. I think a lot of highly abused children marry abused men. He didn't abuse me before the marriage, but there were red flags I was unaware of. It seemed to draw that out. Yes, I'll tell you how it happens, because she said no idea how. Here's what happens. This is what I recognized. And when I was doing a lot of the work after that particular relationship, I recognized that, you see, marriage is a game changer. You're going along. Why do you think people are dating for 20 years and then they marry and they get divorced in 3 weeks? Because it changes the dynamic from, oh, I'm with this person, I'm with a life partner, to now I have married my mother, father, cousin, family. Now I have a direct mirror. And the meaning I've made of what a marriage looks like is going to come out in front of me. So if you saw your dad or your mom behave a certain way in marriage, you are going to become that way. And that, in a sense, is going to pull that out of your spouse. So what happens is a marriage takes on an entirely different, if you will, overview, or for lack of a better way of putting it, coloring of the situation. So to answer that, and I think Renee said it, stated it best, it comes out because suddenly it's permanent. Think about the abused kids, right? When kids are abused, how they look for, they cling closer to the parent that abused them than the parent that didn't, because the abuser is actually the person they're trying to help. So when you meet your abuser or something you perceive that way, you're going to start playing out those things to heal them. And that's why it happens in marriage, because some people have that idea that in a marriage, you won't leave me. You're going to stay with me. So it's really, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's really a great way of putting it. Because yes, we will marry the illness of our parents, even if we don't see it prior. Now, here's something interesting. Most people who have happy marriages will have that dark night of the soul within the relationship, and they will walk through it together to heal it. And you will find that your husband or wife or whoever your partner is, when you say, I'm really experiencing this as, something my mom did, and I know it's not you, they'll say, oh, okay, cool. That's interesting, and you'll be able to discuss it. That's a mature experience. I remember saying that to my ex and being able and saying, I'm kind of judging you based on my mom, and that's not fair, and then his response would be, you're always judging me based on your mom, and you're always, the word always starts to, that's a great way to just kill any conversation. But you see, what happens is the blame shame game that I was feeling inside, that person just helped me experience, right? So all of the anger I had toward myself and the self-loathing and the inability to hear myself, they just showed me. And so the more I saw it, I went, wait a minute, that doesn't sit right with me. So the healthier you get, the less it's going to vibe with you. You're just going to go, what? And for those of you who've escaped like seriously bad situations, I know for me, what you find is that you're not even in upset over it. You're more like numb and relieved. Have you ever gone just numb, right? You just kind of go numb. It's like, I just want to see what's, let's see. You're doing a great job, Black Rose 11. I want to, Dark Night of the Soul, exactly, St. John of the Cross. Well, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, Teresa, you know what happens? I looked at yours, and if you look at the letters, it says there, Sam, 1979. Now I can look at it and it says Teresa M. So that's what I was doing. The letters can spell different things. And because I'm a speller, I can look at things and go, wait a minute, that means this or this. I'm great with license plates too. Yes. Sensible Crime. Bing, bing, bing. Sensible Crime just nailed the conversation. Sensible Crime said, I think much of what Chris liked about Shanann were the very things he grew to hate. I've seen it in other marriages. What did he like about Shanann? In his mind, she wasn't like his mom. But then he started to discover that not like his mom was not going to help him heal the pain from his mom. And so everything she did started to look like his mom. Why? Because he's the little boy having an affair. He's doing what he wants. So when he gets what he wants, mommy has to come in and go, you're not allowed to do that. And all of a sudden he's like, hey man, don't poop on my parade, and it's like, he's a child. So what he hated about her was he was finally reliving his teen rebellion that he never got to have. So we can begin to see how these family dynamics start to play in energetically. And by the way, that's a large part of what's going on in my cards too. Exactly. Yes. What he found charming became annoying because he was a baby. Here's what a mature man would do. Here's what a mature man would do. Okay. A mature man would either end his affair and cop to it, end his affair and say nothing, but get his marriage back, right? Or he would go to his wife and say, you know what, babe, you're not crazy. Admit, when they're in person, say, I am having an affair and I am going to leave. And I don't know what to do, so we can do this in the highest way, the best way for all of us. And, I think that while she would have been reactionary, I think she would have handled it eventually. The thing to remember about Shanann is Shanann was the adult. So she was ultimately going to be okay without him, but he's not okay without mommy. So you see, the little boy has to kill mommy. There's a lot of things because he wasn't mature enough. And my dad used to say that all the time. He would say, beware the immature boy. Beware. And why do we attract them? Because we think we can help them. Because we think we can help them grow up. And by the way, that's sometimes true. When a man is ready to grow up, he will present as a man ready to grow up. And you will feel it. And sometimes he's a con man. and you just get conned, and that's just but again, I believe that has to do with self-healing, because when you heal the ache or the empty spot in you, no one can fool you. See, that's the thing. Let's see, he needs another strong woman to stand by his side. Well, and I think, Stephanie, if we look at that, she said another strong woman to stand by his side. I think it's bigger than that. I think that he was trapped between two mommies. The mommy that he knew and the mommy that Shanann had become, that terrified him, because this mommy was saying, be an adult, grow up. This mommy was like, stay a boy forever. So when you look at it that way, it's like, so we can really look at that. Oh no, savior complex. Yeah, that's good. Not sure what that is, but that's good. See, and that's the thing. Let's see. No Jesus, no life. No Jesus, no life. I don't know what that means. No Jesus, no life. No Jesus, no life. Okay, Donna Branch. I think that there are Jewish people who might disagree with you on that, but I think that, because I kind of include everybody, I think just because I actually believe in Jesus, but I also believe he was a great philosopher too. And I think when we look at that people have different ideas of that, we can honor everybody. So important stuff. Oh yeah. No, I get that. Kyan. Savior complex, when a person wants to fix people, save them. No, and I get that. However, again, we can say savior complex, but what behind it is working with you. The part of me that wants to save somebody may not be the same saving that you need to do. For example, you may need to save a guy who's a drug addict, right? I may need to save a guy who is an abandoner. He abandons his family, so I want him to stay. So when we look at that saving, there's a different, we can use that as just a big, savior complex, or we can say, yeah, what part of me is needing to fix to make myself whole? And that's kind of the idea. And truth is that we're not really whole without, I believe, without God and a sense of our own spiritual nature, whatever you decide to call that for you. Let's see. Yes. Trapped between two mamas. If you look at it that way, notice how Shanann was starting to look like, right? She was starting to look like a mother who was mature, who was like, let's talk about this. Whereas this mommy just said, be who you want, be who you are, but just stay in line. He knew how to do that. He didn't know how to do this. He didn't know how to grow up. And as long as he could be the little boy doing chores for mommy, right? He did chores for both mommies. It was safe. Then when he rebelled against mommy, and by the way, I think he was rebelling against both mommies. When he rebelled and he went, someone finds me. She went after me. Once that started to happen, it was a complete drug. It was a complete, the sad thing is that I do believe that Shanann saw him and loved him. And I don't believe he knew himself enough to love himself. And sometimes we just can't love someone enough into loving themselves. Case in point, people who commit suicide. We can love them, but unless they can grab on to some of that, feel some of that, there's no traction. So when we look at that, it is that the sad part for us is that we can't love someone into healing. We can if they're willing. You see, there's a difference. I mean, I think it's very important to get that, the old cliche, which I love, which is that, and this is what I believe. If you think someone needs to change for you to get better, then send them to therapy and you should have no problems left. Because the truth is, we're the common denominator. Let me tell you something. There's another one I love, and you guys have probably heard it. This is one of my favorites, okay? Here's the thing. I won't believe recipe unless you're okay. They're funny. All right. Oh gosh, I forgot where I was going. I'm sorry that I got distracted. But what was it? Let me see. Lynn, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And by the way, thanks for the super chat. And I want you to know I really appreciate your comments on the Chakra Wisdom Toolkit journey we're on, which just really, I do read them, and I'm really thrilled that you're getting so much out of it, because it's a lot of work and it's really fun and free. Let's see. Thank you. Yes, Alyssa, I think you just hit it. Do you see one of her videos where she talks about how her mom made her recipe book of all? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Red Like Wine, the Rzuceks have a recipe book. That's what they were talking about. Okay. Yes, Alyssa just said it, everybody. Oh, wow, do you think Shanann saw the real ChrisWatts? I think she just saw the fairy tale she told herself. Bingo. Okay, here's the issue. She did see him. She saw the love in him, the potential. Didn't anybody ever tell you to be careful of potential? See, the issue is that a lot of us as women, we might fall in love with potential and not really the person. She actually, I believe, fell in love with the kind Chris, the one who was kind to her. There was a real ChrisWatts. I do believe that she knew what love was, and she did have that feeling for him. Remember, I always say, though, don't fall for a man, let him fall for you. And he showed all that. He was mirroring that, right? Unfortunately, the mirror starts to change as she grew. That's what began to happen. She was growing, so the mirror completely took on a different visual. And unfortunately, while I believe Shanann saw Chris, I don't believe Chris could see the good in himself. And what I mean by that he was good to his family for a while. He was good to Shanann. He was a family guy. He acted the part, right? We know it was an act, but still, he acted that part. So some part of him knew the act, but there was a hollow shell. Shanann was trying to fill that shell up with her love. And unfortunately, you can't fill up an empty shell with love. It just doesn't work. So, you know, Shanann paid with her life. Some of us pay with other things, but it is very, yeah, they are tricky. But here's the thing I want to say to you, because I think, Susan Shepherd, so good to see you. My goodness, I love you. You are the best ever. She is fantastic, by the way. She does like fun ghost tours in Virginia. Check out her Facebook page, Susan Shepherd. She's on this feed. Love her stuff. She's a lot of fun. Yes, Lisa, they do trick. Okay, but here's the thing about tricking. You ready? They can't trick us if we are looking to heal something in us. You see, let me put it this way. They only trick us. Let me relanguage that. They only trick us if we are believing something they have that we're missing. I can't tell you how many, and you guys know this, you watch all these, you watch all this stuff on, like, I don't know about you, but I'm like a true crime junkie, and we watch all this. How many, like, stupid rich guys get the gold digger, right? And she's chasing him down the street for money, and then what happens? Oh, she kills him. What was he looking for? He was looking for the fantasy. He didn't see the reality. And that's kind of a general way of looking at that. If we don't see the reality, that's when we're in trouble. Aww. Thank you so much, Teresa M. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it, you guys. And, you know, I want to say this, that, oh, I forgot to tell you this. Do you guys want to hear? I forgot the other day about, with Monty and Amy, I talked about Colorado being Capricorn, and Susan Shepherd can speak to this too. I don't know if you're still on the feed, but I want to tell you this. Do you know that Colorado is actually a Capricorn right now? And if you remember the Monty and Amy talk, go back and listen to it, because we talked about this. What? Oh, truth bombs. Why do you think all these crazy ass crimes are coming out of Colorado? Okay, Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto, Capricorn. There's a lot of outer planets that are hitting. These are generational planets. They're hitting the Colorado because it's a Capricorn. And I was thinking about that. Like, why are all these crazy ass crimes? I mean, I subscribed when I was looking at, and by the way, Susan is a great astrologer, Susan Shepard. So you'll see her, if she posts, she'll say something here. But I'm trying to get a little comfy here. One of the things that, Gabby, he's sleeping. One of the things that, he's not feeling well. One of the things that I want to say about that is that we look at patterns again and I want to find somebody who's a good astrocartographer. Do you know what that is? That's a person who finds a place for you in the world based on your astrology and the energy of the world and the best place for you. Now, for me, it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of the Indian Ocean. So I can just tell you that. It's like, dang. But Monty had somebody, if I do that reading, I'll share it with you. All right, let's see. What did she say? I missed your thing here. Yeah, I also saw a lot of beautiful pictures of Cindy Watts with Shanann and the children that I've never seen before. See, Homicide Hunters, Colorado. I want to say this to you because I think this is very telling, Trees Velthoven. I think that, again, I don't believe anyone is all bad. And even if you hear some of my earlier videos, I talked about NK, I talk about some of these players in that crime. And the truth is that I don't think any of them are bad. I know that sounds terrible. Even like, we have to look at the fact that there were signs, but they were missed. Because you see, we aren't astute enough to see that looking at the family is key. And his mother treating Shanann like that, if his mother treated me like that, that would have been a man I did not marry. Just because there is danger in that woods. There just is, you could see it. So really look to the opposite sex parent to see how you're going to be treated. I just want to say that, like, in other words, when I say that, like, my spouse, his mother, how he talks about her is everything. There we go. Okay, let me see. I'm a Pisces and now know why I love Virginia when I was there. Yes, there's certain places. Oh my God, see no evil. That is terrifying. Do you know what my favorite is? I think that is my favorite. It's the one where they have on camera and they have hidden cameras. Oh my God, it's like, yeah, exactly. I love that show. Let's see. For how long will Jupiter be retrograde? Because I can really feel the energy of that. Been thinking about that since you said it last time. I think sometime in August it goes direct. Now, how interesting is it that it will be coming up on a year? I can't even believe we're in summer and it's coming up on a year that Shanann and was murdered. And we really have to look at this energy. It's kind of scary. I really, it's actually very, very terrifying. Just looking at some of what you guys are saying. I know. I get, like, I'm one of those people that I start watching stuff and I go, and I go like this, but I do want to see it, so let's see. Any state that's Sagittarius must be a cool state. Woo! Yes, except I lived in Santa Monica, okay, city. I forget what Los Angeles or California was, but Santa Monica is a Sagittarius. You think I got anything done? Nope. I'm sun sign Sag. I just like partied. I had more parties and I got nothing done. So wasn't the best for me. Santa Monica was not a good move for me, but I moved out of it. So yes, Renee, good for you. Yes, I'm remarried. He was very kind to his mom and not a mama boy close. A fine line, yes. And he cares for me. It's refreshing. Renee, God bless, and I'm happy for you. May you both live in just bliss for the rest of your lives. I really, really want that for people. I think we have to remember, I'm sorry, I just looked up and said, do not go to Colorado. It's like, okay, yes. let's see, Teresa M. Thank you for your work to help people, Tori. Not about money, your priceless love heart. Thank you very much, Teresa Sam. You know, I think that's the thing is that, and something that you want to notice is that when people are really mean or bitter, it's really interesting that they're in a place where they cannot like themselves. They're really, really, you know, unable to experience the love. And I think it's kind of like that's how people end up in cults. I want you to think about that for a minute. And I'm going to go in a few minutes because I'm like, okay. But a cult, right? And I'm not talking occult, a cult in and of itself. Think about this. Most of those members are lost. Some of them are bitter and angry. And what happens with a cult is they keep going, we love you. We love you. We love you. And you're going, get away from me, you weirdo, you know? And then over time, we love you. And you start going, weirdo. And then you go, well, somebody likes me. How many times have you said, I went on that date because he liked me, not because I liked him? You know, he liked me, so there must have been something there. Now, maybe none of you have done that. I think a lot of you have, even if you don't admit it. But when I say he likes me, what happens is that's how people get into cults, because they are brainwashed that someone else likes them. And that's how you get trapped. That's how relationships, you know, I think that's what that's why, and vulnerable. I'm glad you said that, Red Like One. It is a vulnerability that hits people. And when they are vulnerable, they are going to, especially people who are so full of self-loathing. And they can be self-loathing by being like a flower child and being nice. You know, the people who killed for Manson, and I'm going to do some stuff on him with Monty because we want to do the charts and stuff. But the people who kill for Manson or for some other leader, yes, they're very vulnerable, but they had it in them. You know, you can't be brainwashed unless it's in you all along. And then people can go, well, they were brainwashed. You know, it wasn't really them. No, it was really you. Guess what? Knock, knock. It was ChrisWatts. Knock, knock. It really was those people who killed those people. You know, you can't. And I'm going to say that when you have someone like a cult leader who people have like finally feel they belong somewhere. And by the way, what do you think the number one thing with trolls and people that are mean are? They are outsiders. They don't belong somewhere. And so they are trying to destroy those of you who feel okay. So if you really look at it, the outsiders are the people that end up going to cults as well. They really end up there. And, you know, if you really look at it, the outsiders who get the feeling of belonging and they heal themselves, those are the ones who wake up and either leave the cult or they get killed by the cult because they have healed themselves and they don't need to be there, or they feel so alone without it, they end up killing themselves. So when we look at that kind of behavior energetically, you can start to look at the things that drive the crime, you know, the things that are underneath it. And yes, guys, we can get on and go, it's this, it's, you know, bipolar, it's antisocial. We can get all of that. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay, let me just see. Okay. Buffering. Yeah, exactly, Bev. Can you see me or hear me? I just want to say something. I'm back. Woo! Okay. Cruise Boston. You're like, you know, she's like, okay, let's see something. Okay. I'm just writing this down. Okay. After my one and only divorce, I moved to Outer Banks of North Carolina by myself. I don't know where I belonged at that time, but I came here for peace and to think it's been amazing. And there you go. I came here for peace. I came to Asheville for peace. And, I said to people the other day, I may be finished, but I'll stay here. Hi, sweet pea. I'll stay here until it's finished. And that just is where it's at. Please like and share this video if you can, guys. Go on and just let people know that I've done it. Also, let your friends know. And if you would, make sure you like and subscribe. I know you guys you zapped them. You sure did. I know you guys, my mods are kind of like on it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I think too, Alice Parker. I often look at the 1 or 2 dislikes in the video and you kind of know. I think the thing that I'm adamant about, and this is just, I don't want people attacked. I don't want to be attacked, and I don't tolerate being attacked. So you will not see many of those people on my feed. I actually go in and I look, or my assistant does, and if I don't agree, I just don't acknowledge it. I just go, okay, that person has that opinion. If they go off on something, I go, okay, like some people get into this high horse thing, and that's fine. I don't really care. Okay. Yeah, please. Gabby's not feeling well. Yeah, see, Renee, you move to the place in your world that's going to be calming for you. Yeah, Gavin's got a tummy ache. He's not feeling well. And let me see if I can get him over here. I know Owen's sleeping too. Gabby, come here, buddy. I know, you get mad. Owen gets mad when I call him. Gavin, come. Oh, come here. Yeah, he's slow. He's getting a little slow. I just wanted him to say hi to everybody. Come here, baby. Do you want to come up and say hi to people? Come on, you can come up. I know you're slower than usual. I know, it's hard to be you. So yeah, he's not feeling 100% today. So you okay, boo-boo? All right. Yeah, you okay? You my baby? Yeah. Do you want to sit down with mommy? Yeah. He's not feeling well. And what happened was Owen had diarrhea and now Gavin has it. So I'm actually thinking I'm gonna take them to the vet tomorrow, because if they both have it, it could be something that's, they ate or what have you. Cutie pie. Everybody loves you, right? Take your little collar off. Ooh, naked Gavin. Little collar's off. Okay. Don't engage. You're so funny. Yeah. All right. Do you want to look and see what everybody's up to? Okay. I know. All right. He's a sweet boy. Yeah, I agree. Live kind. I like that. Live kind. So yeah, my baby, do you want a little something? I got to make them some dinner, guys. I'm going to mash some potatoes for them because their tummies are hurting. It's funny you say weed killer or grass related. No, that would be vomiting. And I'm very conscious of that, because once a pet starts vomiting, you want to catch that. But sometimes they just get a tummy bug or something. But since he just got it today. So I'm thinking it's a bug, and I want to make sure that you're okay. Did you go outside? Did you get your greenie today? You did. You gonna tell everybody you got a greenie? You want to thank the people from the Patreon page? Yeah, he had a greenie. You had a greenie. Yeah, you did. They're good, huh? So everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I'm going to post in just a little while the video that I did on ChrisWatts and Shanann on Twin Flame versus Soul. What is it? Soulmate. And I'm talking about what they are and stuff like that. So that said, I know, a little mashed potato for my boy. Yeah, it says, I need to go back to the island. Prairie life feels like it's killing me. Oh, you're so funny. All right, guys. Yeah, it is sweet potato. It is sweet potato. Sorry, I meant sweet potato. So please send little love to my boys. I'm just trying to get them healed. And I am doing a lot, just so I know someone mentioned this, forgive me for, yeah, exactly. Just for, before I forget, I am doing videos on the Chakra Wisdom Tarot. I am going to be showing the cards more so you guys can see some of the pretty imagery of it. Here's the Ace of Swords. I keep pulling this one. This is Nine of Wands. It's Nine of Cups. And this is the woman who has achieved what she's looking to achieve. So much love, everyone. I'm sending you the Nine of Cups love, and really just some fantastic energy for tonight. Rest up. You're going to need it tonight, because it's going to be a fabulous week and weekend. Please like the video if you're on right now. Please remember, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. And remember, be kind to each other because you are all we have. Much love, everyone. Have a great night. Bye for now.